Asha Yay! Medicine Mama Kia back for part 2 on this Witch Wellness episode. We are going to dive deep into the witchcraft series. So let's get into it, friend. I'm sending you some Asha for your day, baby. Get up in here, get up in here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if you like this video. So we're just gonna dive into it, right? So I'm a witch. I'm a Black Afro-Indigenous queer bruja, and I be serving my medicine anywhere and everywhere that I go. As should you, witch. I shall. So I'm gonna be sharing with you guys a little storytelling time, kind of getting back into Witch Wellness TV, giving you guys more in-depth videos on witchcraft, Wicca, and spirituality as a Black spiritual practitioner, leader, and healer. So the truth behind the legends and lore of witches, we're going to dive deep into the inside their mysterious world. This was written, don't know who it's written by, but yes, I got this from Whole Foods, and this is who I am reading off of. So this book, this magazine has multiple different artists and different authors and writers in it. So please look up the information I am sharing. I am not making this up. This is all factual, stactual. So witches have been around since before biblical times, okay? Bitch, have you not heard of the witch doctors? Like, come on, the medicine women, the medicine men with the green thumb, honey, healing you of cancer and disease. So let's get into it. One of the biggest appeals of the craft right now is that its ability to be personalized is sacred. So the best thing about joining the craft, joining the coven, joining the witchcraft journey is specifically that you can make it yours. You don't have to be like any other witch out here, witch. The fuck? Make it your own journey. Walk your own walk, okay? Talk your own talk. Do what you do, okay? Don't allow other people to define you. So witchcraft is the best spiritual belief system for you to join, research, be a part of if you want to create your own spiritual journey. If you want to learn yourself, learn different spiritual belief systems without being gatekept or without being ridiculed, judged, humiliated, executed out of the circle. So I'm just going to read to you guys that there's something for everyone in the world of witchcraft. Anyone can be a witch. Everyone can be a witch, right? It's up to you to identify as that. It's a spiritual practice that really suits the modern temperament. Says Phyllis Curl, forgive me if I mispronounced your name, a Wiccan high priestess and author. That is who I'm referencing from this reading today. So it can be incredibly nourishing for your soul and your life when you find that witchcraft resonates with your passions and curiosities and needs. There are myriad paths to choose. Here are a few most popular when it comes to choosing the witchcraft journey. So at this point, you're just going to think of like a bubble map when you're a kid and you wrote witch in the center, right? And you're going to put off all these different little legs and create new bubbles on the legs, right? So center is witch. What types of witches are there? Because there are different types of witches, right? So I would say, I'm going to add on a few of mine, but from this we see the ceremonial witch. For those who like structure and tradition of organized religion, ceremonial magic might be a good fit. Ceremonial magic teachings are often derived from early magic schools of the 1800s or before. They often incorporate scientific evidence. Study and rituals are more formal than in other pagan practices, and often involve specific tools and complex magic, such as communicating with spirits and healing. So ceremonial magic, to me specifically, is also very powerful and interchangeable with ancestral witches. So the ancestral witches are those who were reincarnated on Earth as ancestors coming back with the knowledge and the medicine that they knew and have from past lives, subconsciously carrying into this new life consciously, creating the new earth order. So ancestral witches come through on this earth to balance out the bullshit. They come through to be that big auntie energy and like slap the little human kid's hand and say, stop playing before you get burnt. You feel me? Like ancestral spirits come through to really balance out the earth, ancestral witches specifically. So when you tap into ancestral witchcraft, you may find obituaries, you may find old death certificates of family members and have an altar for them. Be very consistent in giving them Ebo sacrifice. You also have the cosmic witch. This is the astrology witch, bitch, okay? The one that'll read your chart up and down, okay? Let you know if she even coming around. So, always staring at the stars? Is that what you're doing? Maybe you should tap into your cosmic practice. It is a calling for the witches to begin studying planets. What is the planetary motion? The moon magic, the moon witches. When you think about a cosmic witch, they study the planets, they study astrology, they study the moon phases. They're very aware in the cosmos, which they coordinate with their rituals and spells. So a lot of the cosmic witches don't do spellcraft outside of the planetary system. So if it's a Mercury retrograde, they're probably not going to be doing the same type of magic that an eclectic witch will be doing, right? Or a kitchen witch will be doing, right? So cosmic witches are very aligned with the zodiac. And then you also have Dianic witches. So Dianic witches are really big in sacred space for women who want to practice their craft without men. Dianic witches do the craft without any men welcome. It's literally just women only, wombs only, right? And it's debatable. There are some witchcraft spaces that are Dianic that don't welcome queer spaces, and that is very controversial. I'm a queer Black witch, so that's not my practice, but I understand that there is a safe space for women wanting wombs to only practice with each other, create that divine feminine force field and expand it. So some people don't necessarily agree, but a lot of women do practice that the Dianic paths for fertility healing, for sisterhood. But yeah, really tapping back into the womb space. And then you guys have divination witches. So the divination witches are always scrying. They're using mirror work. They're using crystal balls. They're the ones that tell you your future. They have practice with clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. They predict the future. They're really good with tarot cards. Divination, they use tarot cards. Divination magic, they'll use shells to read you, the cowrie shells, like in African Yoruba tradition as well. So in divination, oracle readings, there's so many palm readings. There's so many different ways that the divination witch can channel magic and messages. And they also work with the clouds, lightning, and weather patterns, insects, animals, and even human behavioral patterns. Yeah. And then we go into the eclectic witch. So that's me. An eclectic witch identifies with everything and anything and nothing at the same time. They don't have just one belief. An eclectic witch draws from different traditions and cultures to create practices that suit their needs and interests. So an eclectic witch can practice Buddhism, the Tao, Islamic practice, the Christianity practice, can be Satanist, and have different connections in all of those belief systems and create their own out of it, their own practices. And so sometimes they're called non-denominational pagans who may honor deities from one sect and then another deity from a different sect, and celebrate holidays that are from different traditions. So, for example, I celebrate the Chinese New Year, even though I am not very connected to that culture or religion. And I am very, very present in celebrating the Sabbath for the witches. I love Halloween. I love Samhain. That's one of my favorite times to celebrate ancestral healing and giving offerings, because the veil is the most thin. But eclectic witches do a lot of exploration, experimentation to feel encouraged in life. They do not allow other people's judgment or gatekeeping to stop them from their research, their spells, their prayers, their affirmation work, their shadow work. So, for example, I could pray to God and also be praying to Lakshmi, and also pray to Hecate, and also pray to Bass, and also pray to God, Jesus. You feel me? Like, and it's not you or anybody else's opinion to dictate my belief system. And so you also have the elemental witch. The elemental witch is where I started, right? So the elemental witch practices the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water, right? There's also spirit. So with air, you may be drawn to incense and working with bells. If you are drawn to fire, you're practicing candle magic, you're playing with fire. If you're drawn to water, then you're taking goddess baths, you're doing water scrying, maybe painting. If you're connected to the earth, you're playing with crystals, you're getting into gyms, you're getting into creating your own body butters, body scrubs, exfoliating, face care, skincare energies. So the elemental witches are very big on rituals and sacred healing. You have the green witch, and this one is basically the herbal witch. We call the green witch also known as the kitchen witch. The green witch, kitchen witch, is always healing you with the food, always inviting you over and making sure you're fed, offering you snacks, always creating a new recipe. So the kitchen witch is really powerful when it comes to using their gardens. They create their own gardens. They have their own herbs from rosemary to basil to chamomile. They create their own teas. They're really big on teas and blends and creations and concoctions and potions. So the green witch uses and recycles a lot. When you think about the green witch, they're really big on recycling, saving the earth, Mama Gaia, Pachamama energy. Green witches work with vegetation, rocks, crystals, wildlife. And then you go into the hedge witch. The hedge witch is really big on traveling. So the hedge witch is the one who's always on her broomstick. She's always trying out new foods, expanding her taste buds, her palate, expanding her passport, getting all the different check marks of the different countries. She's exploring herself. She's trying new things, new cultures. The hereditary witch is the one who has everything passed down to them from their grandmother. So hereditary witches are those who were born into the craft, those who are daughters of ancient witches, daughters of the witches who burned at the stake, daughters who have books of shadows passed down to them from their ancestors, teaching them on herbal salves, teaching them on mind magic, teaching them on telekinesis, on deja vu, teaching them on black magic, the arts, the craft from different forms of spiritual healing. And then you also have the sea witch. The sea witch is like the Little Mermaid in Ariel. She always wants to be in the water, by the water. She has a bond with the sea and only does her spell castings with the cycle of the moon and the sea. So specifically, sea witches do a lot of offerings, a lot of they eat a lot of fish, they eat a lot of salmon or shrimp. They're really big on sexuality, sensuality, divine feminine energy, and motherhood. And then you also have the secular witch. This is the witch that does not acknowledge the divine or spiritual, nor do they work with deities. The secular witches regularly incorporate oils, herbs, or crystals into their practice. They just don't believe in objects having energy. They just believe that their presence or their energy in itself is the magic that they need. They don't need the scrying glass. They don't need the books. They don't need the evil eye. They don't need the rose quartz. They don't need any of the crystals in order for their magic to be effective. And then you also have the shaman witch. The shaman witch is the one who practices out-of-body experiences. The shaman witch practices Reiki, specifically is usually like a Reiki master, right? This one helps you to connect to the spirit world and heal your body from sickness by connecting to deities, gods, and spirits, right? So they'll work with plant medicine, plant spirits, or they'll work with gods and goddesses and deities to specifically heal your body of disease, whether it's dementia, whether it is cancer, whether it is a bad heart disease, or colon disease. You have all these different forms of healing, or sexual trauma you're holding on to that's creating UTIs and ulcers and tumors in the womb. So it's kind of a remarkable thing when you enter this realm and find that things can really actually affect change when it comes to shaman witchcraft energy. And there's also the solitary witch, right? The solitary works alone. They don't work with a group of people. They feel like working alone is the best way for themselves and that they'll just succeed further along in their craft. You also have the tech witch, which is the new age digital witch. This is the internet witch who loves to connect people all around the world. Usually is like an online coven, an online virtual community, doing full moon ceremonies, moon circles, sister circles, mental health check-ins. These witches view computers as their cauldron. Most electronics like cell phones, laptops, and tablets have quartz inside of them anyways, and quartz is piezoelectric, which means it generates voltage on its surface when compressed or bent. So not all technology can be looked at bad, because it is a benefit to society in terms of rebuilding, connecting, and energizing us. So not all of our tools are draining us, but it is good to have yourself an EMF necklace. What are those called? My friend makes them. EMF necklace. I can't think of it right now, but those EMF radiation necklaces, look up Phoenix L'Amour on Instagram. She makes these necklaces. I still need to get one from her. And she's very educated on electromagnetic frequency, working with laptops, computers. If you're a tech person, you're always on your phone, how it's not healthy for your body or your mind. But it's nice to know that there's rose quartz inside most of these, right? Emojis can also be the evolution of sigil spells. So whenever you send emojis, these can be little sigil spells that you're sending out to people, and it can be effective. Those little pictures can be understood by people who speak different languages. So no surprise, these gadget waves that witches are using have apps that are helping us to embrace and track weather and lunar cycles and community connectivity. You also have the traditional witch, which is also known as a folk witch or a old craft ceremonial witch. Usually in British tradition, there is, what is it? British traditional witch Michael Howard has described it as any non-Gardenian form of the craft. 3 of the most common forms of the traditional include fairy tradition, which is strong emphasis on sexual mysticism. You have Cochrane's craft, which is a veneration of the horned god and mother goddess, as well as the children. And the Sabbatic craft, a mix of sorcery, magic, and Christianity. Asheo. Blessings, soul family. I hope that this introduction on the different types of witches has been beneficial. And yeah, a witch tip. Sea witches often conduct their magical work with water, involving swimming, bathing, collecting shells, or sand. Ashe! I love you guys so much. I hope that this witch wellness video brought you some ashe for your day. I did make this one pretty lengthy, so I want to see, instead of like cutting it up in parts, I just want to do a whole video on the different types of witches. This will just be a part 1 because there's many more different types that I did not get to mention. But I love you. Comment down below if you identify as any of these witches. Which one do you identify as? And follow me on Instagram. Let me know how you like this video down below. I love you guys so much. Follow me on Instagram at Medicine Mama Kia, at The Witch Wellness Shop _ at Sacred Sister Circles. And join us every month if you're in Denver, Colorado, at the Gypsy House Cafe. Honey, every last Sunday of the month, we do a mental health check-in for people of color and the queer community to bring them together. It's a free event. You can get your ticket on my website at www.thewitchwellnessshop.com for free. It's free 99. It don't cost you nothing but, a smile. And you show up, and then if you do register and get a free ticket, then it'll come through my website, and I'll make you a Witch Wellness mental health goodie bag. And so you'll come and you'll leave with a gift, and basically you'll come, leave your negative energy in the space, we'll cleanse it, remove it, and you'll leave with a gift, feeling brighter and lighter. And then every single month on Instagram, we do promote our events. I am working on upgrading my website, so my website is timely with the monthly events that we have coming up to date. You can follow us on Sacred Sister Circles on Instagram, and that'll let you know every day what time, where you can find us, and how you can support and show up. But yeah, people are starting to fly out for my events from different places and ATL. I'm like, all right, shawty, you got motion, you got movement, so you got to start moving with these videos, girl. You got to start, because I'm this close to start being really subscribed. What is it? I'm this close to being a paid YouTube healer, leader, content creator. And so I just need to stay consistent to receive the results and the reward. So with that being said, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this story time. More videos are to come.